Yeah. What's the word, huh? 1942 for the hurt, huh? S-man got left by the curb, huh? He the worst, huh? So bad, probably can't find the words, huh? I'm based by the way, what's yours, huh? Where's that from? My day real right with that one. Is this your last one? Can I buy you a drink for real? I think we could be a thing for real. See your vibe from like a mile away. You the type to dance the night away. Show me how you get down, where you from? Where you from? We don't got what you got in the city. Round here, don't make them this pretty. Girl, rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one, rock that body. Throw your hands in the air if you own one, rock that body. Little fast like girl, the slow one, rock your body. Come on, rock that body. Say rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one, rock your body. Yeah, throw your hands in the air if you own one, rock that body. Yeah, little fast like girl, not the slow one, rock your body. Come on, rock your body. I don't think that I've seen you before, but I think we should stop being strangers. What you doing tomorrow on 4? Think your schedule might need rearranging. What you do, oh, you model, that's major. I'm an artist like rapper, not painter. Yeah, I know, girl, this rap dangerous. So it's living, so who really blame us? And I got a friend for your friend, and he ball at me too, so let's make it a deal, okay? And I can't believe that you single, girl, looking like that, man, you really is still okay. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel, okay? But this drink, I be keeping it real, okay? Girl, rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one, rock that body. Throw your hands in the air if you own one, rock that body. Little fast like girl, the slow one, rock your body. Come on, rock that body. Say rock your body. You ain't gotta turn down for no one, rock your body. Yeah, throw your hands in the air if you own one, rock that body. Yeah, little fast like girl, not the slow one, rock your body. Come on, rock your body. Rock your body. Rock your body.
What's up, everybody?
What is up?
It's March, David.
Oh, yeah, it is. I didn't even think about it.
It is March. So how's it going, everybody? Alex here, David there. We are coming to hang out. It is March 2nd. It is a Sunday. We're coming on to say what's up, the Alex Cuesta show.
Mhm.
Already seeing Nate checking in. What's going on, Nate? Saying what an Elimination Chamber.
We will talk about that.
Best since 2010. We're going to do a nice long thing. So if you don't like wrestling, probably going to skip the second half of this episode. But we're going to be talking about a lot of wrestling. Before we jump into the fun stuff, as always, wherever you're watching from, we appreciate it. Whether it is Facebook, X, YouTube, Kick, Rumble, wherever you are, like, share, follow, subscribe, all the good stuff. Dave, you just missed because you had work, but we had an awesome episode with Terry Schilling this past Wednesday, talking a ton about manhood, family, fatherhood, and all that type of stuff. Trans ideology, Terry's awesome American Principles project, someone that you definitely want to go check out. And go check out that episode. It was a good one. Make sure you follow us on all social media at The Alex Cuesta Show. Dave and I were busy last week. Thursday, we were on the Culturama podcast with Daniela Pensack. And then on Friday, we were on At the Mic with Keith Malinak, Blaze producer for Pac Ray Unleashed. And
both great shows. Go check them out. Culturama on Rumble, not on YouTube. On Rumble. Go to Rumble and watch that. And then Keith... The video is on YouTube. The live stream was not, but the video is up on YouTube now, so you can go and check that out as well.
Yes, it's on there. They were lots of fun. They were both good. A few different things, with Culturama was a little bit quicker, and we talked generally about the Epstein stuff. And then with Keith, it's always just a fun hangout. He has really cool deep dives on Thursdays with At the Mic too. So highly recommend you go to both of those. Really cool stuff. As for us, we're going to talk about the Epstein client list. I'm still going to fucking call to have him out there because it's not out there.
You have to.
I'm still going to be very loud and vocal. We'll talk about that more, but I'm calling for it. I also, we gave our shout outs there, obviously Culturama and for, At the Mic. So I'm not going to give another shout out. Those are former guest shout outs. Got them out of the way. Always think of our, friends and family over in Helene and Milton. Going to keep on talking about that. Please donate to them if you can. California fire victims, Lahaina, all of it, East Palestine, whichever one you can think of. And also over in South Carolina now, Myrtle Beach, there's some fires raging. So let's hope they can get that under control soon. Obviously this shit, natural disasters affects everybody. So please go help as much as you can. Dave, I'm not going to let the story of FEMA looking over Trump voters die. I refuse to let it happen. I don't hear anybody else talking about it anymore. Maybe in passing, someone mentions it, but it's something that, anyone that watches this, please go bug your other favorite streams if you watch any and have them start talking about it. The more we can get eyes on it again, maybe we can get Congress really looking into it, because that's some bullshit. And we can't have that happening. Whether it is, in the next election, if it's Vance versus Democrat X, AOC, I don't want them overlooking AOC supporters, right? I don't want a conservative group over. That is something vice versa. So we need to make sure this doesn't happen and FEMA gets under control, and that they help everyone equally. And lastly, as I always say, don't let up. Do not let up. Trump has won. Trump's doing a lot of good things. We'll talk about the one bad thing today that he's done, but don't let up. And Dave, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, right? I'm going to tell everyone here today that I've been telling all of you to get involved. Get involved with your committees, help out elections, run if you can. Well, I'm going to go public today and saying that I am running for my town board seat over in my ward. And it's something that's exciting. Gonna jump into politics. I like talking about it. But now I'm going to officially jump in. It's at a town level, arguably the most important level, right? Because I can make all the difference here doing things for my town. So I'm going to be running a campaign. Hopefully I'm going to win. I'm going to work my ass off. Going to go to every single door that I can, talk to Republicans, conservatives, Democrats, Marxists, leftists, independents, nonpartisan. I don't care. I'm going to talk to all of them because I want to find out what makes the town click and see what I can do and make sure that I'm a good board member. So walking the walk. I've talked the talk this whole time. Now I'm walking the walk. So that's my announcement, and I'll keep updates if anything goes on for the election and things like that, because let's go. And I hope I encourage more of you to go out there, run for school board, run for your town board council, anything you can do. You're watching this, more than likely you're interested in other shows. You're probably more informed than the average bear, more informed than you even know. So please, please, please make sure you're getting involved in some way. Okay. All right, Dave, let's jump into the fun stuff here, shall we?
Yes.
All right, now
we will start out with the first thing I'm sharing. There you go. At least it worked. I was very worried. So what happened recently is this right here. We'll actually just play this. If you didn't see the whole meeting, there is the whole 50-minute meeting. You can go and watch it. But this is generally how it worked out when Zelensky came over to the White House.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't have to play cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
Influence.
So just a quick recap. A few things that I want to touch on. Number one, don't just go watch clips, y'all. The clips only show the last 10 minutes chopped up where it got super fiery and explosive. And it looked as if Trump and JD Vance were just attacking Zelensky, and Zelensky was on the defensive. There was 40 minutes of Zelensky just begging, threatening, demanding. And it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. He was not, if you're with Trump, you have to act a certain way, right? And all the world leaders had conformed. You see every single one, from Macron to Trudeau when he's in person.
Mr. Starmer came in and he was very nice.
Keir Starmer was very nice. Keir Starmer is such an odd case, but Keir Starmer was
Keir Starmer is a robot, but that's not here nor there.
But you're looking at it, and if you watch the first 40 minutes, it's Zelensky basically trying to goat Trump into calling Putin a murderer, into guaranteeing security and safety, into guaranteeing their ability to keep fighting. And Trump is sitting there and from a smart perspective saying, hey, in so many words, he said, if we do this mineral deal, you will have Americans working in Ukraine and Vladimir Putin will not invade anymore. That was in so many words. Trump said that a few times, basically saying, hey, you have your security. We're going to put Americans in Ukraine. If Putin fucks with our spots with Americans, he's fucked. We will defend you because we're defending our own interests there. Zelensky was a boob, to lack of a better term. I don't know, Dave, did you watch the full 50 minutes?
I didn't watch the full 50 minutes, but
I watched the whole thing.
To be quite honest, Zelensky has been able to go out and basically say these things publicly because he's had consistent backing throughout all the Western powers throughout this whole entire time. And, I don't blame him for trying to take the same way he's been going. I mean, it was a bad idea to do it when Trump's in office,
Yes.
but, it's worked for him in this long haul, so why not keep doing it, right? But he just chose, if he did this more privately, then it's not as big of a deal, right?
And that's exactly what JD Vance said. When JD Vance cut in, it was not the fact that Zelensky was trying to do what he was doing, right? He was coming in, he was negotiating. You do a big ask, and then you kind of meet, right? Trump was doing his big ask. He talked about the mineral deal and how it's going to be great, how he wants to end the stupid war, senseless death, blah, blah, blah. And there were moments within that 40 minutes that like Zelensky and Trump were like joking around a little, right? Like you saw there was a clip where they asked about, if he feels Trump and America have his full support. And Zelensky was like, yes, he talks about, and in that same statement, he talks about how not only America's been important, but the Europeans have been important, and that Trump says that they've done way more, but the Europeans have done as much. And they go back and forth where Trump's like, they haven't done as much. And Zelensky's like, they've done as much. He's like, not really. Yes, they have. And they're like smiling, getting closer to each other. Like it wasn't honestly, Trump and Vance had a ton of patience, because they allowed him to go on and on and on and on for 40 minutes. And Trump, for those first 40 minutes, stuck to, we want to get this war done. We want your people to stop dying. We want Russians to stop dying. I've talked to Putin. Putin wants to come to an end to this. And the mineral deal will be big because we want a deal first, securities after. We'll talk first after we make this deal. But we wanted the deal in place, and then we could talk about security. And essentially, the deal was the security. It wasn't until, he started litigating, and then Vance talked about, diplomacy and how, we need to, and that's when it went off their hinges, because Zelensky started trying to school Vance on what type of diplomacy. There is no diplomacy. He kept on calling Putin a murderer. He kept on saying, and he brought up things that were relevant too. And I get it, but Vance has a point going, don't do it here. Don't try and upstage me and the president and Marco Rubio and everybody here. And that's what Zelensky's been doing to everybody.
Oh, Rubio got the short end of the stick too. Did you see that picture going around? How he looked? He looked very frumpy. That was not good for him.
But Rubio did have a good moment when they talked about negotiations and stuff like that. Oh, it looked terrible. Yeah. But listen, Rubio then went on CNN and he had a 20-minute interview with Caitlin Collins, whatever her name is. Caitlin Collins? Caitlin, it's spelled weird though. And fucking torched everything. And honestly, I'm telling you right now, everyone's saying Vance has great moments. Rubio's a fucking dark horse for 2028, man. If he continues with what he's doing, then especially with the knowledge of the behind the scenes workings that he's having to go through, he could really boost his profile there. Rubio has the support of Latin Americans. He has the support of Floridians. And like I've said before, he's getting things done as a Secretary of State as opposed to being a figurehead. Now, JD Vance is doing a great job of being the lead diplomat, right? Yeah. That's his job. And he's doing a great job. And it seems like they're all working in tandem. They really are all in unison, same message, no one coming. And it could have been very easy for Marco Rubio to come in and be like, I think the vice president and president were a little strong. No, what'd he say? Trump had a reason to be upset with the way things were going. And the unison has been really good. But overall, if you watch the first 40 minutes, take the last 10 away. The last 10 were alphas going at it. Because whether you like Zelensky or not, Zelensky's an alpha. He carries himself that way.
And the thing is, like, I know a lot of people, especially on the right, don't like Zelensky for multiple reasons, whatever. I don't necessarily hate the guy.
No.
I don't. It's not exactly the greatest situation. There's a whole lot of things in his background, right? But I'm not entirely certain about all those things, nor do I care when it comes to the situation at hand when in war times.
Yes.
But I do think it's just really silly to come in and act the same way you've been acting with Biden and his staff as with Trump and his staff. It's just,
And the
it
worst
was
part is,
just
I
a
think
bad
they
move.
already agreed to a deal in principle. That was like the pre-meeting
Mhm,
before they went back to talk.
mhm.
And I think they already like kind of agreed to a deal. And for him to fuck it up that bad, because they kicked him out after that too. I don't
Yeah,
know if
and
you
they
saw
kicked
that.
him
They
out.
kicked him
Yeah,
out of the White House, and they were
they
like,
kicked him
"No,
out.
you don't want to do business the right way. You
They
can
didn't
get
have the
fucked."
lunch they're supposed to have. But apparently,
No.
I think it might have been today where Zelensky said, he's going to come and sign the minerals deal. And
And
he
Trump, they
was
took it
already
off the table.
today.
Trump took it off the table. He said no deal.
I didn't see that today.
From what I know, what I saw is that when Zelensky said he was going to do it, Trump said that deal that we had is not in effect anymore.
I thought that
We're
was
going to have to renegotiate the deal.
okay.
And here's the
Either
thing.
way.
Either way, but also a big development this morning, Keir Starmer going on the BBC and announcing that after he just met with Zelensky, right after Zelensky left the Oval Office, he met with Keir Starmer.
Mhm.
And Keir Starmer announced that, number one, after what happened at the Oval Office, he got right on the phone with Zelensky and Trump, which, honestly, I don't like Keir Starmer. I don't like his policies. He's doing some really good diplomatic stuff right now. And I'm not going to lie. Him and Macron are saving their skin for Europe right now. Because he said he got on the phone with those two. He got on the phone with Emmanuel Macron. And what is going to come out now is the UK, France, and Ukraine are about to work a peace deal. And when they get their peace deal together, they're going to present it to the United States, and they want the United States approval of it to then take it to Vladimir Putin. Hard diplomacy work, Dave. And I think that's the biggest thing we have to get out of here is I don't think that Trump and Vance ever didn't want to make the deal. I think they still want to make a deal and get something going.
Yeah.
But what they did was hard diplomacy.
Mhm.
They had a line. Zelensky crossed the line. They said, you're out. We're not going to do the deal. And again, it's the art of the deal. Trump wrote about this, right? This is exactly what he does.
Mhm.
And we see it this morning. Zelensky essentially, and I saw another report that Zelensky called the White House and asked to come back, and they said, no, get on your plane. Like, it's just, honestly, like, things are done so differently with Donald Trump. And I think people aren't used to it. And the way he empowers the rest of his staff, I think is very different too. Because JD Vance being JD Vance, I don't think Pence would have stepped in that way. Well, I don't think many vice presidents would have stepped in.
It shows how much trust he has in Vance to say the right things, right? He really, really likes JD Vance, and that's just obvious from him allowing him to just say whatever he wanted to during that meeting in public. And that's a lot.
At the end of the meeting, Vance gave him a fucking attaboy too. He like gave him right on the shoulder, gave him an attaboy. And the thing is, it's like, even afterwards, like you saw like the tense moment ended. And I think one of the reporters said something to Zelensky and he started laughing. Like, it was like, it's one of those things where the stakes are so high. And like you said, Dave, I understand Volodymyr Zelensky because, I mean, it's stupid what he wants to do, right? His people are dying. He needs to make a deal. This war needs to end. But I've talked about this before. Y'all need to know your history and why the Ukrainians are fighting so hard. There's still ancestors that remember the Holodomor that live in Ukraine. There's elders that remember what the Soviet Union did to Ukraine and starved millions of their people as an experiment for Soviet fucking, agriculture.
I don't know if it was experiment. they just wanted the food.
Well, the thing is, that was stupid Trojan Lysenko saying that if you put the food close enough, though, it was a stupid thing. It was Trojan Lysenko being a retard.
Yeah.
And they have long memories, right? And you have to understand why the Ukrainians are fighting so hard. And I think Volodymyr Zelensky's corrupt, right? He didn't hold elections. There's parts of it, but I also think maybe he has aunts, uncles, grandparents that lived through that he heard stories about people starving to death and never wanting to give Russia the chance to do that again. Like, I understand their willingness to fight. I do.
Well, yeah, and there are there are probably actually a favorable rating of still continuing the war in Ukraine. I'm not entirely certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than half of Ukrainians still wanting to continue the war and continue fighting, because there is pride in homeland, right? And they're a country that probably actually still has a majority of people that like their country, other than some of the West. But there are times, and as a leader, you can't just say, well, we need to stop sometimes. And you have that bravado and you have that push to keep going. But unfortunately, when you are basically a proxy at this point, you have to kind of bend to the hierarchy of what's going on in the war.
Well, yeah, because like Trump said, and like he knows, Ukraine can't fight this war without the United States. Not even Europe cannot fight this war without the United States. Oh, and another big thing that came from this, Dave, especially this morning with Keir Starmer, basically calling on the European nations to live up to what Trump said with the 5% GDP, to get as close as they can to 5% GDP of defense. And they announced that they're going to get up to 3.8, almost 4% within the next 5 years. And France announced that they're going to be damn near 5%, but by like 2030 as well, 2035 or something like that. And he's calling and basically saying, Trump is right. We need to be able to defend ourselves, because if we all get to that point, something like this is more difficult to happen. Because one of the big issues is none of them are confident in their militaries. They know they can't.
No,
so
they're
nowhere near where they need to be.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing too, where they had a whole entire emergency summit with like 8-9 European nations. And that's one of the things that Keir Starmer was pushing. Like, hey, we need to all start pulling our own weight. We need to all get our defenses up, and we need to be able to defend ourselves as a European country, a European nation.
And I mean, there's a lot to be said for that stuff. But honestly, with a lot of Western countries, like America has it bad with immigration. It's actually worse in those other countries.
Significantly.
So there are bigger things that need to solve before they can actually get their militaries back up to where it needs to be.
But it's good that there's a willingness, especially seeing now where Trump is like, you guys are on your own.
I don't trust Keir Starmer at all.
I get it. I don't trust him either, but it's a good step to bring them all there.
Yeah.
And it's a different rhetoric. It's a rhetoric and a tone change that we have not seen in, my lifetime. Your lifetime either. Because since World War II, they've all been very squeamish and relying on the United States. So Nate G coming in saying the borders are near perfect too. The ethnic Russians will now be Russians. No more constant attack from Azov. And that's the thing too that we don't understand. And I understand from a strategic standpoint that Ukraine wanted to use that as a buffer. Don't come here because these are your citizens that want to be your citizens. If you invade, if you kill us, you're killing them. But that buffer's done now. That buffer's over. I think the sticking point, Dave, and I don't know about you, is going to be Crimea. Because there's a reason why Russia was pushed back from Crimea once. No one wants to give them access to that port, including the Western powers. So I'm interested to see what goes on with the Crimea deal and things like that. If they're going to say, hey, you can have the Donbass, Crimea's back. Crimea is still not yours.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, there's a lot of talk about this deal, and that's also why I don't really want to get into the weeds on this.
No,
because I don't know that much, to be quite honest with you. But there's a lot of talk about a deal that most people don't know what's actually going to be in the deal until it's done. So
we just know from what Trump said at the meeting what essentially it was going to be.
Exactly. So, and like I said, I don't know that much, but it's very obvious that Ukraine had become a proxy in a war between the U.S. and Russia. It's very obvious that that's what happened.
Yes.
So when it comes to the hierarchy of that war, it's really U.S. and Russia signing a peace deal and Ukraine having to say, look, we agree with the U.S. that this is what we'll do. That's basically what's happening right now because they are a proxy. That's what they are at this point.
Yeah. And Nate G coming in saying Donetsk and Luhansk are not economically worth anything. Russia didn't want them in 2014. Not a big loss to Ukraine. Should have done the deal years ago. Yeah. And that's the thing. As long as Ukraine can continue to have their grain production, which they are the biggest grain producers, food producers in Europe, and the materials, right? You look at the strategic placing and where Trump wants to be. He's gearing up to have all this raw materials, all this energy from Greenland, raw materials there. Look at what Biden just signed before he left, the CHIPS Act. What do you need for the chips? All this earth, all this energy. And if we want to start competing in semiconductors, this is a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
This is a absolutely smart way to do it. Instead of trying to tap into all of our stuff only, go use somebody else's fucking shit, right? What's the EPA going to do? It's not on our soil. It's everywhere else. So it's a smart way to do things. I do want to address one quick thing. I put out a post earlier today about the whole entire thing about hard diplomacy working, and I linked an article to the BBC, the one that broke it this morning, and I had a comment from an individual, Code of Honor, spelled with an E at the end. And I don't know, a Code of Honor, and it wasn't necessarily against, but he brought up twice, he or she, that the deal would make the United States have a standing army. That's what Zelensky wants, have a standing army in there. And what I want to get to the him is, or her, is with the deal for, the raw earth minerals. We are going to have American companies and more than likely Americans working there. That's as good as your standing army, okay? Because Putin will not want to go anywhere near those areas, not even just be there, near them, because it will be an act of war if they touch a fucking American. It's very different going into an ally, right? An ally we could choose to say, piss off, right? An American business that is doing good work for this country is something that a president can't ignore. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or not. So by stationing them there, we don't need a standing army. American interests are at risk there if that happens. And Putin knows it. And Putin knows what's going on. And it's going to be fine. That will be the standing army that they want. And that's what Zelensky fucked up. Because he's like, we need a securities deal. I don't know if he didn't understand it or if he was just trying to puff his chest out. But that's that. So that's what we saw from there. It was interesting, but I think people needed to get a little more understanding behind it. And that it wasn't just a show. People are calling it an ambush. This wasn't an ambush. Zelensky was being a douche, man. Like, that was it. Zelensky was being a dick. And Vance had enough. Because I think it was honestly, Trump was being really nice. Not gonna lie, y'all. If you watch it, Trump was letting Zelensky go, correcting him nicely.
He praised him a bunch of times in the beginning of it. I know I saw a little bit of that.
Talked about, how brave the people were and things like that. And saying, I think he wants to get this done. Blah, blah, blah. And Zelensky took it a step too far for JD Vance. And then that's when Zelensky started to get incredibly disrespectful. And the gloves are off. Zelensky took the gloves off. And the thing is, he was a welterweight going up against a heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
And he could not take the punches. And that's it. But he's coming back to the table, and that's that. So, all right, Dave, what do we got going on next?
Next we can just jump into the Epstein stuff real quick. Because to be completely honest, I don't think that, to me, there's not that much to say. One, we already talked about it on Culturama.
We did.
Go watch that. But also, two, it's very simple. Right now, Pam Bondi is the lowest on cabinet members of Trump's cabinet. She has done a terrible fucking job so far.
Yep.
And she really needs to step it up. And this is nonsense with the Epstein files. And Cash is not too far behind her right now. Because I know it just came out like, oh, they know who did it, so they're going to be fired. No. They need to be arrested. Things need to actually happen here. And you just need to release them. Even if it has nothing. Just release everything. So it's like I said, I don't think there's really that much to be said. There's this obvious condemnation here, obvious mistake by the whole Trump administration at this point. Obviously falls on Bondi and Cashmore because that's where they're representing, but obvious mistake on the whole Trump administration right there. And it's something that you need to talk about. They promised this, it didn't happen. Fucking get it done.
And it's the way they did it too, right? It's not like they just released it and it went to no one. They gave it to not even journalists on the right, influencers. I think it would have been different if you're bringing in Barry Rice, Glenn Greenwald, all the people that broke the Twitter files.
Barry Weiss is on the right.
Agreed, but she's still more of she's aligned more with free speech than she is without free speech. She's kind of going back a little bit now.
I don't even know about that.
But there was a point where she was on our side, right? But I'm just talking about she's more legitimate than anyone else in like MSNBC and shit like that, or CNBC. I don't know which one.
Yeah, sure.
So, but I'm just saying, giving it to more legitimate journalists than influencers. And I think that's the problem. You gave it to talking heads. You gave it to influencers. You gave it to Chaya Ratchik, who I have no problem with, lives at TikTok, but she's not the person to give the fucking Epstein files to. DC Drano, you don't give it to him. I like Jack Poso. Jack Poso may be the closest thing they have because he does human events daily. Cernovich is just a guy that talks and he broke some stuff early. Get to the news people. Mm-hmm. You know what? Like that would have been a better way to do it.
Just release what you have. Put it on the internet. Just do it.
On the internet.
Just do it.
And the fact that that's the way they decided to do it, and they made a big deal about it. It's not like, again, it would have been different if it was like, hey, I'm DC Drano and I got this binder from the government. This is what it says. They had them take the pictures. They had the pictures in sitting around the table saying, we're with these great influencers. And it's like, okay. And then to do a nothing burger, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they would have done that and there was some explosive shit in there, we would have all forgiven how shitty that was. But it was less than a nothing burger. It was all things we already knew. And then names with a shit ton of redactions.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, be out in front. If you're Pam Bondi, be out in front. Say, hey, we're giving you what we have. It's not much. And she kind of did hint to it. She said it's flight logs and it's names and there's some stuff. But then you have Alina Habba going, people are going to get arrested for this. The fuck do you mean, Alina Habba? Like, no one's getting arrested over this, okay? There's no serious shit unless you saw an unredacted version. And if that's the case, that's even more fucked up, right? So it's bad. This is a big flub in the Trump administration, but in typical Trump fashion, they got swept under the rug because he bodied Zelinsky with Vance. But
Say, it was other big news that did.
But we are assholes, and we don't let shit go. So I only followed Libs of TikTok of that lame ass photo op. Unfollowed him. It was a spit in the face. See, I like Libs of TikTok. I like Chaya. I think she does a good job. What she did exposing all the shit, she does a great job, and she's on the forefront of exposing a lot of the abuse of children. So I like what Libs of TikTok and ultimately does. Mosin, what's going on? Mosin coming in saying, I saw a supposed expert, Jack Lifton, claim that there are not a significant amount of rare earths in East Ukraine. They would not need to be, they would need to be heavily refined. The deal is more about refining due to the toxic. Okay.
I don't know
we'll
if
see if we get
cut off or not.
Kind of got cut off.
but that deal is more about refining. I mean, either way, and I think that actually would speak more to just having Americans in there, right?
Making a securities deal more than anything.
Unless I'm reading that incorrectly. But at least if I'm reading that correctly, like if it's, we just want to get Americans in there, get a little bit of something, right? But
he
there's
continued
people
right here,
in there.
Dave.
Oh, shit, there we go. Sorry.
Toxic waste products resulting from the refining of rare earth minerals. A dumping area, essentially. Okay, listen, even if it's still used as a waste area, but like Dave said, like you were getting at.
I don't know that much. That's why I don't want to talk about it that much.
But like you were getting at,
yeah,
it seems to be more of a securities deal then. If that's the case, if that's legit, then this is more of a securities deal than we thought. Without saying we're putting boots on the ground, we're just putting Americans there. And more than likely, they're going to be fucking intelligence agents that are trained to do refining, if we're going to be quite honest. Right? They're going to be people that can report shit.
Yeah.
So
the way I look at it, it's like having I'd like playing Civ and having workers on a plot. And then if someone comes in and they take the workers, and that's immediately just a call to war. Like that's immediate.
Because it is.
It wasn't even a cash belly to put out there. No,
it is. That's a declaration.
Yeah. It's just,
so
it's my simple ass mind just puts it that way.
I agree with you. And if that's the case, Mosin, then then Zelensky fumbled the bag even more. Because that was Trump saying, hey, we're willing to kind of waste fucking time hitting rocks over in your country to make sure that Americans are there so that they don't come and attack you. And the fact that it's on the East Ukraine, right where it borders, like, come on, guys. So that makes it actually worse for Zelensky if that's the case.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like we've had this discussion before. A lot of things I don't think are going to blow up into bigger things more than some other people do. I'm a lot more easygoing on things because I think there's a lot more that goes into something to make it kind of spark, Yeah. So, a lot of people, and obviously this was actually a big spectacle. I understand this deserved a lot of news because something like that happening in public is wild. But
with two world leaders where there's so much pomp and circumstance.
Exactly. But just overall, like when it happened, I just found it more funny because like, to me, it was never going to be that, oh, the war is just going to continue and America is going to be gone completely. To me, I just felt like, they kind of got it out of their system. And then, like Zelensky's going to come back to the table in some way. He knows that this cannot continue with just European powers. Yeah. He knows that.
And so does Keir Starmer, and so does Emmanuel Macron. And and this caused, I think, Slovakia or Slovenia said they're done supporting Ukraine. Mm-hmm. They're not going to support them with military. They're not. Yeah. So other European countries are kind of following the lead of America. So Nate G coming saying, I did too, but photo opping, the biggest human trafficking operation on earth, no principles. This isn't clout time. It's holding disgusting people accountable time. I agree. And I care more about stopping child trafficking than trannies on TikTok. Nate, where I fall on that is where I fall on a lot of things. Are they a net positive? Libs of TikTok has been an absolute net positive. So I give people the benefit of the doubt when they make mistakes. That's a mistake. And apparently, Chaya was the one that was so pissed about what was in there that she was the one that gave it to Laura Loomer. I don't know if it's Laura Loomer saving face, but when Laura released it, she specifically said it was Chaya from Libs of TikTok that gave this to her so she can scan it. So it gives me some goodwill where maybe at that point she hadn't opened up the binder. Maybe they weren't allowed to look yet. Maybe Jack and Cerno looked at it, which is why their pictures are a little more glum.
If you do, so Nick Freitas was there. Nick Freitas was on Friday Night Tights recently.
Okay.
He talks about what it was like being there.
Mhm.
If you want to listen to his side of what happened, because he's not happy about it either. But if you want to listen to his side about what happened, go listen. I can't remember the times, but it's early in the show. Go listen to him talking about it, because like the binders are apparently given out at the last 10 minutes, and they were told there wasn't supposed to be a photo op. Apparently, that's if you take his side on it. I don't know where Alex went. Okay, I was gonna say I don't know if you're coming back.
No, I'm back.
Apparently, there wasn't supposed to be a photo op because I think that was the time. That was the day that Keir Starmer was coming in, so they were waiting for Keir Starmer.
Gotcha.
And either
So why
way,
do you
like I
let them
said,
go out that way?
hold up. I'm just saying, if you
Dumbass.
want to listen to his side of that, and what he said that his experience was, you don't have to take him at his word. I'm just saying, if you want to listen to that, I don't know how much that says about it. I don't know how much you care.
Did he say no one was really happy? Because it really looked like some of them were pretty happy.
Yeah, I think.
Or maybe they were just kind of laughing at the situation and it just got
Maybe.
misconstrued.
I'm not entirely certain. I'm more annoyed about how they put it after the fact. A lot of them put it after the fact, where it kind of was the same way of putting it, like, oh, well, you know, Pam, and I get it, they're trying to save face, but you just got to call it out, man. Like, yeah, no, this is really fucked up. Like, they should have came out and said, look, this is a fumble of a way to do it. This has some information in it, but not a lot. Like, you could have done it better than just like, oh, but she's going after the people at SDNY FBI. You know, they're going to get them and all that. And it's just like, no, it doesn't feel like it. So why are you saying this? That just doesn't feel right.
And, you know, like I said to Keith Malinak on Friday on At the Mic, I know Liz Wheeler works for The Blaze. That's a colleague of his.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I like Liz Wheeler. I think Liz Wheeler is a pretty good reporter, but she's the last person I want to hear an excuse from for the administration.
Yeah.
I don't want conservative journalists running cover for this administration, okay? Because that makes you no better than the leftists who were running cover consistently for Biden, Obama, etc. Do not run cover, okay? If Liz Wheeler, if that's the story, Pam Bondi should have put it out, or her press secretary should have put it out. Kash Patel should have put it out, not Liz Wheeler. Liz does a good job, but I dislike that she was the one that was like, well, here's the real story and what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Liz, I don't give a fuck what you have to say in that situation. It shouldn't be coming from you. You are not a branch of the military. You're not a press secretary. If you become a press secretary for Pam Bondi, fucking dope. You'd be great at it, Liz. But you're not. I don't want to hear that from her. I want to hear it from the people who are, I know Alex Rosen from Predator Poachers has been going off on X, making fun of the fact this is the most transparent government of all time. And obviously this is huge to him. Alex does incredible work getting pedophiles off the street every single day. And this was something that is right in his wheelhouse because Epstein is the pedophile fucking king, right? And for them to sit there and slap everyone in the face, especially people that supported Trump, is a big deal. Let's get to some of these comments, Dave.
Yep.
Mosin saying he said that Canada is where all the rare earth mineral deposits are at, like significantly more than any other place the U.S. could reasonably access. Apparently, California has a lot too. And here's the thing.
Well,
our relationship,
Canada is going to be the 51st state. So
not even that. Our relationship is fine with Canada. Honestly, even though Trudeau's saying it's going to be reciprocal, again, Canada knows they can't do shit without us. Their economy is, I think, 80% us. So it's like they don't have a choice. And if Pierre Poilievre gets in, we are going to have unlimited access to that because he signaled the willingness to work with Trump.
The thing is, we should have a good trade network with Canada, really good trade network with Canada. We should be able to work together really well with Canada.
And
So,
we already do have
in a lot of ways,
preferential
we do.
treatment.
Yeah.
Ezra Levant went on with Glenn Beck not too long after
Mhm.
Trudeau spat and stuff.
Mhm.
And I listened to it, and he said there was already an agreement that America has first dibs to everything raw
Yeah.
in Canada. So it's like it's already there. It's again, Trump is posturing to put us back as the world leader, period. He doesn't want anyone to look for China anymore. He doesn't want anyone to look for Russia. He is sitting there, he's putting his dick on the table and saying, this is ours. Let's get to some more comments here. Nate G saying, I don't disagree, but not one of them said we shouldn't do anything without new info. Agreed.
Mhm.
Nate G also saying, I haven't heard his side. I'll check it out. Another coincidence is they all have blind support for people suspected of running the whole operation. Yeah, that's what you said, Dave. They were all defending Pam. They were all defending Cash.
Well, no. He's actually specifically referring to like Mossad in Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. Because I mean, there is a little of evidence that Jeffrey Epstein, intel in any type of way, but I know specifically, what is it, father of Mossad agent or something like that. There is some like connection there. Better connection, a lot of other things. But
I mean, you look at Ghislaine Maxwell too. Wasn't her
yeah.
father a Mossad agent or something like that?
I can't remember. I can't remember. But I know there's like some connections there. But either way, it's just not good. But we can actually continue with Mosin because he's keep talking.
Mosin saying, or Trump or Cash should have never promised to release the incriminating information,
Mhm.
but instead to prosecute them before releasing it publicly.
Yes.
In a trial, could reasonably be argued a jury would be biased by the info in those files becoming public. Agreed. Yeah, there is something to be said about that.
Yep.
I think also what we need to realize, Mosin, Nate, making it public may be the best thing. Because I don't know if any of these powerful people would
be able to
be tried, because they have more money than our American government is willing to spend. More than likely, they're one of the rare people. A lot of those people on there could probably outlast the American government in terms of wanting to be there. So it might be the best thing to get public shaming them.
Yeah.
And make sure they have to leave the country. They can't show their face, or there might be some street justice, right? Like that's honestly the best thing we can hope for.
Well,
I'm not saying anything happens like that to them, but that they just can't show their face publicly and they need to leave because they become persona non grata.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe the best thing because they're rich and powerful people. All right, Dave, our last political thing I wanted to talk about here.
Yes.
If you want to pull that bad boy up.
Okay, I was going to say it should be up.
Yeah, so right here, there was a new portal that was launched. This was the 27th. This was a few days ago. I got it brought to my attention by Moms for Liberty. And it seems like a really good thing. The U.S. Department of Ed launches an NDEI portal. Basically, it works with, Tiffany talked about it. She's in there, quoted by our past guest, Tiffany Justice. And it talks about, essentially, there is a portal where parents can go to if they suspect DEI or no DEI is going on in their school. They can put it into the portal, and that school will now, or that school system will fall under investigation. Now, the only thing that I have a problem with, Dave, is how many people do you think actually knows what DEI is?
Yeah, that's fine. I actually disagree with you on this, specifically on this portal thing. And I'm going to say this real quick.
Go for it.
Because for me, this is a lot like VARS, a vaccine injury thing,
Okay.
where you could have many things that are incorrect about it, right? But it's a place where you can put in your complaints and people can sift through them, right? I get your point when it comes to specific things on the internet and yet again, quote unquote influencers, but that I feel like that doesn't pertain to this at all. I don't know,
because I see a lot of dumbassery just from our side. The people have no idea what DEI is that are supposed to be influencers, and they're influencing low information people, right? Because there's a lot of low information on both sides.
But that's the thing, though, right? That's exactly what I'm saying with the vaccine injury report as well.
Yeah,
because anyone could put that in. But it could be sifted through and be like, okay, well, that's not actually a vaccine injury because of this other types of things. And it's the same thing that could happen here. So that's why I don't have that worry at all, because it's just a portal for a database of things that could possibly be an issue.
I just don't want to see the derailment of an actual decent school.
There won't be.
Just because someone's talking about Martin Luther King and some racist ass decides to put it in there.
There won't be. I think that's an Overton window kind of worry. Like I said, when it comes to a database thing and it comes to a complaint box, especially like this, it's perfectly fine. I don't think. No, I am right. I'm going to slam my fist on this run. I'm completely correct about this.
This is a rare moment. Mark it on your calendar. David thinks he's right.
Yes. Yes.
But
Like I get what you're saying.
I just don't want the abuse. And I never find that the federal government coming into anything is a good thing. Even this.
Well, and the thing is though, is for me, like it's not even necessarily because I honestly don't even think the federal government's going to look at this very much. I think more of like Moms for Liberty and other places going to look at this, those places that actually care about this stuff a little bit more, and they'll be able to either put their people in, they'll know where to actually have people try to be more urgent about going onto school boards and things like that. Because yet again, just a database. What actually came out of vaccine injury database, right? Not that much from a government standpoint. Not at all from a government standpoint.
That's true.
But what came from it is people sifting through that, finding out what's actually going on, and other types of things. So when it comes to databases like this, and it's U.S. Department of Education, Linda McMahon already said she might be the last fucking one there. So
she's gonna
exactly.
I think that's gonna be the gift at the end of it. She's
Exactly.
going to dismantle it on the last
So
day.
that's my thing. This is not going to be some kind of federal government operation. It's just a database for people to come in and put in complaints. And, you can say what you want about a complaint box, but this isn't a complaint box that's getting worked on by some like overhead hand. This is a complaint box where people can go and just look at what might be happening.
I think you have a good point there. I do. I think it's a good point. I think it's a salient one. It's just, so I'll say this. If
I know I completely ran over you.
No, I like it. It's good. You gave me a different perspective. If you know in your school system, look up if there's any sort of project or any sort of program going on, go on their website. If they're supported by Castle, if they are SEL at all, there's DEI in your school. Then absolutely put it in the portal. I will say that. If you have that in there, because that is a surefire way to know, because SEL and DEI work hand in hand. If you have social emotional learning, they are touching on the diversity, equity, and inclusion things because they all are a part of the 17 sustainability goals with the UN. And this is part of it. So I will say that. And I will say there's probably 70% of schools in the United States that will fall under this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look up, if anyone, we have the Positivity Project here. Fuck that thing. But there's other places that have certain things that are with Castle, CASEL, social emotional learning. If you see anything that has SEL in it, they will talk about being inclusive. They will talk about equity. They will talk about diversity. And then absolutely report it. But I hope there's this place you have images. Have receipts. Make sure if you want something to be done about it, have receipts about what they're saying. There is a shit ton of literature for the Positivity Project. I really thought it's funny. I'm railing against the portal, but there's a good chance I might use it. But, but make sure you have receipts, because if you want something done, just putting in, they talked about LGBTQ stuff to the kids isn't going to be something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to
specifically say what they're actually doing.
What they are doing. Okay. Is there a, Gay Straight Alliance? And is there a program and a flyer that you can report to saying, hey, the GSA is trying to love bomb or do something here. This is sketchy. All this, that's types of things you could do. There's a social emotional learning program. Here's the literature that we've gotten about it. Here is my concern. Yada, yada, yada. Have receipts so that if you do put it in there, you might be able to affect change. And like David said, you may have a Moms for Liberty be able to come in and help you out and things like that. Or, get candidates that can go on there. Or, it might help in the state because New York State's fucked up, right? So we'll see. It could be positive. Dave, I hope you're right. And I hope I'm wrong.
No, I feel pretty correct about this.
That's good. That's good. That makes me, honestly, it makes me feel better that you're so sure.
But since that was the last political thing, and because I know we're going to talk about the next thing for a while, I made it.
I want to do one quick thing.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I just want to talk. Let's get this thing out of here.
Okay.
No spoilers. I just want to do a quick talk about Dragon Ball Daima. Now, I know you haven't watched Daima at all yet, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to spoil how it ends, what happens. If you have the internet, you have probably seen, and you're an anime fan, Dragon Ball fan, you've probably seen some shit. I know I spoiled some things for you, Dave, just by moments where I've talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was already spoiled by Twitter, too.
Yes, it was spoiled by X and things like that. It is such a love letter to everything Akira Toriyama did. He sent himself a love letter. And in his death, I am so happily saddened that this is the last thing that Toriyama ever penned. He made things canon that I never thought were going to be canon.
Mm-hmm.
He did it in such a great way. And the feel of it was quite literally Dragon Ball mixed with GT in so many ways. And it was so much fun. There were lows, don't get me wrong. There were episodes that kind of went nowhere, but they had their comic relief. It was a very Dr. Slump-esque moment in some of them. And they gave them all time to shine. Yes, there was no Gohan. I think there was intentionally no Gohan. There was intentionally no Goten. There was intentionally no Trunks. He wanted it to go back to its roots in a lot of ways. And it had the kookiness. It had great power. The choreography is it's basically, you're just watching the choreography from Superhero on TV. It is that well done. There was depth to the characters built really quickly. Piccolo was useless, but that's okay. Piccolo doesn't always have to be useful. Vegeta had awesome moments, especially Bulma and Vegeta in the last fight. The villain was hilarious in a peel-off sense, and then got to a gravity point where you felt like it actually had meaning, even though you always knew it was going to end the way it was going to end.
Mm-hmm.
There was 20 episodes. You know Goku was going to save the day. How he got there, we didn't know. What he did to get there was so fucking cool. And just adding the extra elements of lore to the demon realm was good. It was really good. How this transitions to Super, I don't know. This makes some problems with Super already, but that's okay. It's okay, y'all. It's okay.
Dragon Ball having problems is not something that's out of the realm of
We
what
shouldn't go
happens with
crazy.
it.
It can be remedied, everybody. They can explain this away. They just did a one-shot manga, quick, with Super, explaining why Goten and Trunks became Saiyaman X, and with Clean God and everything like that. If that wasn't Toriyama's last thing, if that is actually Toyotaro and Sasuke Toriyama doing it together, I have faith in how Super is going to go. Okay? Because it had the same lighthearted feel that Akira Toriyama has. And Toyotaro's drawings, I know people criticize them. It looks like Dragon Ball. Y'all shut the fuck up. Toriyama doesn't look like Dragon Ball that we know back in the beginning of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, okay? His style has changed so much that there is no one to say what is the one style. As long as it looks and resembles the characters that you know and love, shut the fuck up and enjoy it, okay?
I get it, though.
It was...
Because Toriyama's art style is also extraordinarily unique.
But it's everywhere, though. If you go back to the beginning, it's everywhere.
Yeah, but it's also emblematic of a man, right? Because it's also just the art style for a whole franchise of a game. Like so it's difficult when you're so used to Toriyama to just accept other artistry.
You just have to remember, though, that Toyotaro was Toriyama's handpicked guy because he drew so closely to him. And he does do a really good job. So I give him credit. His choreography was a little off in the beginning of the Super manga, and he's gotten better. But remember, he's the guy that brought Dragon Ball AF to life. When AF was a myth, he was the one that did it and made a really good web manga. So good for them. It was just awesome. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, if you're an anime fan, and you haven't watched Daima yet, it's 20 episodes. Really good. Zed does the intro and outro song. It's fucking Zed. So it's like a really good beat, techno beat. And it just feels so lighthearted. And it is so lighthearted. The music behind the battles, it gave it such a different feel. It wasn't serious. It was never meant to be serious. And it was awesome. So Toriyama, thank you for the final thing. Thank you for everything. Still saddened. But this was such a great present that he left us. It was awesome.
Yeah. I'll have to watch it. I will have to watch it. But we are going to move on to something that is serious. And they commented about it. Word Life. Serious. This is basic thugonomics. And it is damn right it is basic thugonomics.
It is fucking basic.
Elimination Chamber happened. We're going to keep this.
He reminds me of the guy from The Incredibles, the boss that Mr.
Yeah.
Incredible has.
Yeah.
That's the same face as the
I can
boss.
see it. But Elimination Chamber happened. And well, actually, we're just going to start off with Cena because the unthinkable happened in WWE. Cena finally turned heel. And what a way to do it. It was damn near fucking perfect. You can think whatever you want about Travis Scott being there. At the end of it, it just kind of felt right for some reason. Even though it was really stupid and he's saging up and doing that shit. But allowing Cody to say go fuck yourself. They didn't bleep it out. Allowing Cody to have that moment where he said he already gave the soul to the fans and to this ring, so he can't give it to The Rock. Cena overemphasizing his happiness for Cody doing that. And then Cena siding with The Rock, going corporate Cena, going heel Cena, and having this dragged out moment of Cena beating the ever-loving shit out of Cody before he holds him down for The Rock to whip him with the weight belt that has Dusty's death date on it. This is what a segment to end Elimination Chamber. And like I said, it is that's fair. That's fair. Travis Scott was all, but like Triple H said, coming into this weekend, this is going to be an industry changing event, and it is because like I said with Jey Uso previously and this podcast, the Royal Rumble, you could think whatever you want about him winning, right? But the unpredictability in wrestling is part of what makes it so much fun. With how much the internet has with all the dirt sheets, and every single surprise of someone coming back is always leaked. So you never have there's that moment of the music hitting. It's like, oh, is he actually here? Doesn't happen as much anymore, right?
Yeah.
But Triple H being able to hold this together and not have it come out, and then Cena actually fucking turning heel and full heel is incredible to watch, and I love that. I absolutely love that.
And it's like, what a great moment for Cody and what an education for Cody, even though he's a vet now.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the greatest promo guys in the history of the game, in the history of WWE, between John Cena and The Rock, being able to be in between those two and to have this moment with them and the understanding of, cutting that with those two guys and holding his own. Because Cody has gotten so much better at cutting a promo.
Able to be
so
the baby.
Much better.
You are the baby face that both The Rock and Cena decided to be a heel for. That's fucking big. That is really big. Cena doesn't put people over a lot. The people he's put over are huge. He's put over Punk. He's put over Bryan Danielson. He's put over people that he believes carries the industry.
Yep.
So to get that from Cena is fucking huge for Cody Rhodes. And honestly, with the way Cody did this segment and everything, I completely see why.
And the thing is, too, it's like we talked about after the interview, right? Where I said, WWE is telling you what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the confidence that they're going to get there and you're going to enjoy it. This is exactly what I was talking about. And it's what they're doing. And again, I didn't know this was going to happen, right? I had no idea that Cena was going to win Chamber.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he was actually going to do it. And, it seems like it's all happening, but man, this is like one of those things. Like I said, I just said with Daima, we knew Goku was going to save the day. How did he get there? We know Cena is not. It is a foregone conclusion, I think, in my eyes, that Cena's going to win his 17th.
Yep.
How is he going to get there? Who else are they going to pull into this, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to pull?
I think there's going to be one or two more wrestlers to join the corporate side.
We talked earlier, I think Roman is a good option.
Well, you think Roman on the other side, right? On the babyface side.
Roman going into the babyface side.
Yeah, I'm saying that there's probably two more wrestlers on the corporate side and the heel side.
Well, you can look at Seth. I think Seth's a good option. Because you could bring CM over with the babies. Babyface.
Yeah. Well, hold up though. Because I think Drew actually could go over to the Rock and Cena side. But Nate's saying, however, second best chamber ever. Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, I'll talk about the whole pay-per-view. Alex hasn't seen it, but
I haven't. But we'll talk about it anyway. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it probably tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
But I thought it was one of their best pay-per-views that they put on in a long time, just from beginning to end, and where they needed the matches to not be like as perfect and stuff like that, especially to end it this way. Please God, just one more Doctor of Thugonomics intro. I don't know if they'll do that. I think there's gonna be some type of remix. I hope it's not Death Rebel. I hope it's not Death Rebel that does this. I don't think it's going to be, but we might. It'd be incredible. Kids today don't know how amazing Cena was as a heel. He's probably the best heel of the Ruthless Aggression era, and he was only heel for 2 to 3 years of it.
Yeah.
He was honestly, a lot of fun.
The reason why he was so good during Ruthless Aggression, because he felt like an Attitude Era guy out of place, because the shit he said during Ruthless Aggression, how many times he called Lita a slut?
Well, and it was the FU to go against the F5. Like, but it was like, the FU honestly, to me, baby.
The highlights of him just disparaging women. Like he was
he was something else.
He called but here's the thing, he was playing into the rapper hip hop guy, right? So he called every girl a hoe on that roster. Every single one got the hoe call once. Like enough that Godfather was going to bring him out with him. Okay.
And just like I said with Drew, I thought Drew McIntyre is going to be the corporate champion. And I think they can really put Drew into this role in like the corporate way, especially because of Rock's like, look, no one has been listening to you, because one of Drew's complaints is no one's been listening. Everyone's been against him, and everyone keeps fucking him over from what's rightfully his, because, you know, he won the belt after years of hard work with no one in attendance and during COVID. And then when he finally wins the belt again, fucking Damian Priest comes and steals it from him because of fucking CM Punk annoying him and shit. So Drew wants what's rightfully his. He's put in the work, and The Rock will give that to him as a TKO board member, so Drew can be a corporate champion.
So do we see a power struggle between The Rock and Triple H? Does Triple H go on Cody's side, and The Rock basically say, you may be the boss, but I run the show type of thing?
I don't think so. I think Triple H is kind of going to be standoffish on this because The Rock is his boss. I actually don't think Triple H is going to be very involved in this story. But where the moments he is, it's mainly going to be like, probably like, I can't help you type of way. But this could build into something really big. And this isn't the only like good storyline that they kind of.
So let's go back. Let's go to the start of the pay-per-view. Let's go to run down the matches and we'll talk about it. Even though I haven't seen them, I'm a wrestling fan. I could see it in my head.
Yeah. So
I really
the start of Elimination Chamber was the Women's Elimination Chamber, which was a very good match. It started out Naomi and Liv Morgan were the first two to start the match, but Naomi unfortunately didn't start the match because Jade Cargill came back, beat the ever-loving fuck out of Naomi to the point where she was deemed unable to compete in the match. So it continued on. Very good match. Everyone performed well. Liv Morgan went. She's a fucking incredible wrestler. She showed out.
Her development from a very rough around the edges novice to, you know, basically like watching her initially with Rhea, the beginning, she was still unsure of herself with Rhea. And I think Rhea brought the best out of her, and she got so much confidence in her Rhea Ripley battle, because I think her and Rhea did so well together.
They have good chemistry.
And they were good chemistry, and it gave Liv confidence. And now Liv wrestles like a veteran. She's an absolute vet.
She can put on a great match with anyone. She really can put on a great match with anyone. And everyone, like I said, everyone in this chamber did great. Bianca ends up winning, which I think is a perfectly fine choice. Bianca versus Rhea Mania. Good match. I mean, it's a dream match for a lot of people. I think the build to it right now is not worthy of it. So I think there's going to be a little bit more to this. I think they're going to want that dream match to really happen at another Mania, the bigger one. But Bianca wins this. I thought it was a really fucking good way to start this. It was a really good Elimination Chamber match.
It's about time we got Bianca back in the singles, because Bianca is one of the most talented female wrestlers that we've seen go in the ring. She's so good. And like I said, think it's good to get Naomi and Jade their feud. That's a good way to break up that tag team without breaking it up.
And the thing is, Bianca's still going to be involved in that story in some way.
Well, because she's now friends with both of them. Jade was her original partner, and now Naomi stepped in.
You know, there's theories that like Bianca was actually part of one of the people that got Jade injured. So there's a lot of ways they could go with this. And like I said, this Elimination Chamber pushed stories in good directions where you can be invested in multiple. So, and like I said, the Women's Chamber was great. Everyone showed out in it. Everyone was good. Bayley, Roxanne, Alexa, everyone.
And I can see Jade getting involved in the whole entire singles championship scene too, in some way, affecting Bianca, because Jade's incredibly talented too.
Yeah, at some point, she still needs a little bit. She still needs a little bit of work. Like she's been gone for a bit. So maybe she put in some more work, but she still needs a little bit more work in ring wise to be really, really there. but she has the physical ability, no doubt.
And then eventually you push Naomi down to that intercontinental scene to make that intercontinental belt bigger because Naomi's perfect for that scene.
Yeah, and Naomi's really fucking good because she
so
could be world title worthy too. Either way,
there's too many cooks up there. She'd be good to highlight that intercontinental and then go up.
Either way, great start to the pay-per-view. Nate, next. Well, I didn't even know that. Well, actually, now we're gonna go. Now
I have seen that. Actually,
now I have to go to the comments because
let's go. I've actually seen that, Nate.
We're gonna start from the Cody Rhodes' last appearance on Broken Skull. Stone Cold said if Cody ever needs a hand, Stone Cold will be there. He said he'd never leave Nevada again. Where is Mania in Vegas? Yeah, I know. There's a lot of possibilities, Nate. There's a lot of fun to be had here, and IRL, Jade and Bianca don't like each other. I actually didn't know that.
I saw some things on that. I've seen some X comments from like Jade Cargill. Like she does like some subtweets. She subtweeted a whole bunch. Which again, they could bring that in there.
Yeah, believe me, like real life heat translates very well to wrestling.
I have to say real quick though, before you go on, even with everything, I just want to clap for Triple H. What a job that man's doing.
I mean, especially coming into Elimination Chamber, a lot of people, myself included, especially with the way SmackDown's been, it's just like, I don't know about this road to WrestleMania kind of thing. Like, it's not, a lot of these stories weren't really clicking.
He needs to get SmackDown up. If SmackDown even gets to a decent level, because SmackDown has objectively been boring and bad, honestly. The storylines haven't been great. Maybe, honestly, maybe they need to shake something up. Maybe Bad News Barrett might need to go somewhere else. Maybe let him go to, because, maybe him and Joe Tessitore don't really, because, the commentary has a huge difference on it too. So maybe him and, he maybe needs to go to, what is it, LGF or whatever it is, and down there. And bring Booker up because Booker's so good on the mic. You bring Booker and Joe Tessitore there.
A lot of people don't like Booker. I like Booker.
I like Booker because Booker's out of fucking pocket.
Yeah.
When it comes to women, he's Jerry.
It just reminds me of the King. Yeah. But we go from there to a decent tag team between Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax and Candice LeRae.
Yep.
They all perform pretty well. Trish Stratus is incredible for her fucking age. The fact
I have to say this.
She does is ridiculous.
What I saw out of that is a commentary on what men liked versus like. Because Trish Stratus represents attitude, ruthless aggression, the perfect woman. Big boobs, tight body. You look at Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton's a chick now. Tiffany Stratton is thick. She stands next to Trish.
She has a lot. Tiffany Stratton is a lot of muscle. She's
a lot of muscle. She's a freak athlete. And that is the difference, though, between like Tiffany is the smoke show right now. Obviously she likes to dress the way she shows herself off.
Yeah.
But like
she's a Barbie. She really is a Barbie.
Huge boobs. She's got a big old butt and thunder thighs. And it's like different from what like we expected. Like Trish Stratus, that was the model. Stacey Keibler, Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, even Lita to an extent, even though Lita was more of an athlete. Then we look at the current women between Tiffany, between even Candice. Candice is a little bit bigger. She's not like that twig. None of them are twigs anymore.
Yeah,
they all have that muscular physique.
They're all very athletic in some type of way.
Maybe you can even the only two that kind of fit that older mold will maybe be Liv and Alexa, but they're still freak athletes and they're still muscular, like for their powerhouse size. So, I mean, it was just funny. I saw them standing next to each other. I'm like, yesterday's perfection, current day perfection. Yeah. Like that's how people look at it.
And it is really interesting though, watching the both of them in the ring. And Tiffany still has a little bit to learn wrestling wise and 100%. Where she needs to do certain things. Like, if someone doesn't catch you to kind of sell that you got hurt because you weren't getting caught and stuff like that. Where Trish has all of that experience. She like Trish is a wrestler, man. And she does really fucking well at it.
Kudos to her coming from quite literally just being the hot fashion model. To becoming a wrestler. And it was wrestling Lita. It was wrestling. God, there were so many decent women back then that didn't get the credit for being as good as they were. I'm trying to think. Jackie was really good for a little while. They had some really talented female wrestlers that didn't get the push because it was all about the smoke shows only.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, again, she could school some of these young pups, and Nia Jax just needs to be out of WWE.
I don't hate Nia because she does her character now decently well, and then she's not hurting down. And she's not hurting people. So
she pulls everyone down.
And I'm happy.
She's only there. She's a member of the Anoa'i family.
I'm happy. Candice LeRae is in a pay-per-view match. Candice LeRae is very good.
Candice
She's
is
very
talented.
fun to watch in the ring. She's very talented.
There were 3 really good wrestlers in that match.
Victoria, thank you.
And then Nia Jax.
Victoria was
really good.
great.
I'm trying to think of the other one. God, she was a black girl. She was really good, really talented back in the day. It wasn't Jackie. Was it Jackie? Maybe.
I can't remember right now.
I can't think, but there was, like I said, there were some freak talented wrestlers.
Yeah.
China not being one of them. China was terrible.
But either way, this match was a good match to just have, like, you could just sit there.
I love that John
either
Cena is
go
just sitting above us still.
You could either just go, you can go and get a snack during this match, and it's fun to watch. And it's a good way to come down off the women's elimination chamber. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't something where it's just like, holy shit. So let me get to the comments before I move to the next one. CM Punk and Seth don't like each other IRL. Look at their chemistry, so good. Exactly. Yeah, anytime they wrestle, I want to watch it. Also feel bad for Punk. Dude's hurt so often he can't be guaranteed a Mania next year. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. He's old. He's not young.
I think they pushed Jay a year early, and so I've seen a little bit. Nate, you might have seen it too, and it might have been debunked, especially with the way dirt sheets have been recently. They've been kind of wrong on a lot recently. But apparently there is murmurs of it possibly being a squash match between Gunther and Jay at Mania, and Gunther just fucking obliterating Jay. Which would be very interesting because I don't know, Triple H is a very online guy. His comments during post pressers and everything, he is obviously very online. He's seeing what everyone's saying.
Yes.
So he might be seeing all the Jay hate online, and he may think that, you know what, we need to give Jay some type of Cody push that Cody got for losing against Roman. He has to go through those difficulties again. And so like I said, that might have been debunked already, but I have seen that. So Jay winning could lead to a squash match, which leads to a big redemption for him. But
so real quick, I want to say, and I've said before, we've criticized WWE for not taking advantage when guys are over, right? Mm-hmm. LA Knight comes to recent memory.
Which
LA Knight was
he
over.
Should win the U.S. championship soon. They didn't get that fight with him and Shinsuke because Shinsuke's brother died. So they pushed it back.
That makes sense.
Very fair. But LA Knight should be getting the U.S. to make that relevant again.
But that's the thing. They didn't do it the right way with LA Knight. You think he should have been a champion probably at that point.
Yes.
They did it. They're doing it the right way. Jay is as over as I've ever seen. He's as over as I've seen people since Daniel Bryan doing the Yes. Okay. That is as over, and that's incredibly over. And they took advantage of it, and they're putting him there. Now, I said to you, Dave, before, because we talked about this a little before. Mm-hmm. If they're going to go that route, have Gunther injure Jay. Send Jay off for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let him train and come back with more wrestling moves and be a better wrestler so this criticism's gone. And he can come back as a triumphant hero, thrust him right back into the scene, and boom, he's not just Jey Uso that does 93 super kicks in a match.
Yep.
He is Jey Uso that now goes to a DDT, has a clutch suplex, something, right? Because we're going to talk about the next match between Sammy and Kevin, whereas the polar opposite of watching an Usos match, where they are pulling out moves that you didn't even know they could do, and they do it fluently. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a trust factor there, right? Because Kevin and Sammy know that they're capable of doing these things.
They're wrestling soulmates.
Which is so surprising considering they all came up together with the Usos because Sammy was partnered with the Usos in the lower WWF stuff. And
the thing is, you also have to remember the Usos are tag team. They were a tag team for the longest time. So they work together as a tag. Like Usos in tag matches are actually very fun to watch because they pull off a lot of things together for like in a good way. But when it comes to single style, it's just not enough of a repertoire that's pulled out consistently to make it something that you want to watch all the time. Yeah. But like you said, we're going to move on to the next match.
Real quick, I just want to comment. Yep. We're talking about Jay. Nate G saying, I think Jay deserves it. Needs another year to elevate his mic skill. But CM Punk is now.
True.
I agree.
That is true.
I agree. It's the same thing every week. He comes out and says the same thing every week. He needs to be a little bit better. Maybe they need to write for him a little bit better. Maybe Gunther's just not the right guy for him because Gunther's kind of plain, right? Gunther's this wrecking ball, and you can only say so much, right? So they maybe need to go there. Nate G saying CM Punk night 1, Cena night 2. That's what we should be doing. And yeah, they had the top of the Ring of Honor legend. Yeah, exactly. So
and The next match was Sami versus Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens is a fantastic match. An unsanctioned match. They had the lights dim. The ref didn't have the
that was a
regular.
cool setting.
So, but it was a great match. They went absolutely crazy. They beat the ever-loving fuck out of each other, as was expected. So many table spots, so many chair spots. On the inverted suplex that Kevin Owens does, that
It's been a month since KO did this already.
Yeah, I know.
It's
He
been a
already did
month.
it with Cody. But he already did it with Cody. But the one he hit on Sami on the chair where it bent the chair was such a good spot. Like, that is probably one of my favorite spots from this match.
What match was better? Cody and Kevin or Sami and Kevin?
I'd have to rewatch them both, to be quite honest with you. And I'd have no problems rewatching them both, honestly. But and they brought out the barbed wire chair, not the barbed wire of old, but still good spots, KO going into it face first and then getting hit with the Blue Thunder bomb onto it. And then KO eventually just putting Sami out of his misery, which, someone pointed out on Twitter, because I saw this on Twitter before I watched the match, unfortunately. But, Kevin Owens hits Sami with 2 power bombs on the apron of the ring to basically put him completely out.
Yep.
But when he was going to hit the second one, he couldn't get Sami up correctly. So he ends up kind of laying Sami onto the apron. And, veteran fucking wrestlers they are. Sami starts hitting him back as if, he was just fighting back. Kevin gets him back and then hits it correctly. And it looks like it was all part of the struggle. It was all part of, instead of just a botch. So you could see everything that they work so goddamn well together.
What's awesome too is, I've talked about this before, and it falls into the same realm. When you're a wrestling fan and you watch wrestlers save each other, you watch wrestlers do these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
As a wrestling fan, you see that. Mm-hmm. And once it gets pointed out or you notice it, you're like, that's dope. Like that, to do the right thing for each other. And you could tell that sometimes you could tell that Kevin and Sami are real life friends, real life good friends. And you can tell because they were just so dedicated to putting on a good match and putting each other over consistently.
Yeah.
There was a consistent wanting to sell for the other, not necessarily oversell to a goofy extent, but to sell and make the match look good. Yeah. And I don't know. We need to start looking into who has the most 5-star matches in history, because I think Kevin Owens is going to get up there between having the most 5 stars ever.
Especially according to Dave Meltzer, Will Ospreay's up there, and that's not like Ospreay doesn't deserve it.
Ospreay's so good,
yeah.
But Ospreay's so good. Yeah. Ospreay is going to keep the fucking AEW afloat on his own. Anyway,
we don't have to
KO is going to have to be up there. I don't actually remember a bad Kevin Owens match that I've ever seen in WWE.
Yeah.
But it's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, when Steve Austin is okay with coming back and wrestling you at WrestleMania, says a lot about you.
And gives you permission to do a stunner.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought the match was fantastic. Sami is beaten to an ever-loving pulp. Kevin actually goes back and tries to put him he actually rips up the not the foam, the fucking padding around the ring, and he's going to do the cement spot with Sami. Randy Orton comes back to a good pop, very good pop, and he looks fucking huge like he has been. He comes in, RKO's KO, sets up the punt kick. They tease us the punt kick, but Kevin Owens gets out and he gets saved because a bunch of people stop Randy from doing it. I can't wait. When he finally punt kicks Kevin Owens' head might actually come off his body because Kevin Owens is that dedicated to wrestling. But that should be a fantastic Mania build. But great match. In fact, we'll just jump right into Nate's comments. I like Cody kept a little better, he said, and I completely understand that, especially with the ladders.
I don't think there's a wrong answer. I don't think there's a wrong answer here.
KO gigged in his barbed wire spot, maybe KO Sami. Yes, especially so. Alex, you'll see it because I 100% have to watch this.
I will.
But when KO hits face first onto that barbed wire chair, the suspension of disbelief gets broken a little bit because he's not bleeding, right? If he is bleeding, because after he hits that, he rolls and he's screaming. You hear him screaming, which is really fucking good. Like he's screaming
the fuck out of it
in incredible pain. So if he is bleeding, like Nate said, it would have actually elevated a crazy amount. It's Kurt Angle, and he has 0 Meltzer 5 stars. That's actually a good point, Nate.
I mean, Meltzer's a glorified blogger. Okay, he really is.
Yeah. Orton KO Mania is going to be so nasty. Oh, 100%, man. It's going to be such a good match. I cannot wait. And honestly, like,
it's a stunner versus the RKO, and I love it.
Yeah, as much as I love Kevin Owens doing all these crazy fucking matches, there's a part of me that's just like, look, I know you're doing it as safely as possible, but please don't hurt yourself to like the Mick Foley route where you can't do it anymore. Because I want you to be able to go out and have matches.
Here's the thing, though.
It's, it's a give and take, right?
It's a give and take, but it's who he's doing with that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Cody is great.
They do it as
Sami
safely
Zayn
as possible, right?
Is great.
It's still gonna get hurt.
Yes, but you know what though? I think it's funny though. I think he's taking less bumps in this match than he would with a bad wrestler or even a mediocre wrestler.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like
safer bumps.
It's safer bumps. They're big moments, but they're doing it incredibly well. And again, Kevin Owens, I'm not shy to say he's one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen wrestle. Period. There's no Kurt Angle's up there. Kevin's up there. I know Nate's going to say Christian. I'll give him Christian just because he loves Christian. But there's some guys that are just Kevin Owens is a top 10 wrestler. Period. Yeah, I put him top 10. He's so
watching him perform is incredible. And like you said, it is who you're doing it with, right? Because like that, the inverted suplex off the rope with Cody onto the ladder, that's a fucking crazy. You hit that wrong, you are so fucked.
You trust each other.
So fucked. Like,
and the thing is,
the way Cody sold that was perfect.
And it's not just the trust of the one doing it; it's the trust of the one taking it that they're going to take it in the correct way, right? Which no homo, but it's the one that
it's wrestling, man. It's kind of hard to say that at this point.
And even when I saw the spot where KO does the clutch suplex onto the chair with Sammy.
Yeah.
If Sammy doesn't keep his body in the perfect position, he breaks his neck.
Yeah.
He trusts Kevin to do it in the right way, and Kevin trusts him to respond in the right way. And that is massive. That is massive. And Randy, here's the thing. Randy has his limitations. He can't put his fucking arm over his shoulder anymore. There's certain things like he won't do it. He said it on an interview. Like, I probably could. It's just mental that I can't do it. I can't get up there anymore. He's like, there's a reason why I only do this. He's like, so again, there's limitations that Kevin's going to have with Randy that he didn't have with the other two. But at the same time, out of the other guys, Randy knows his shit. Okay. Yeah. Randy is, again, one of the best wrestlers. There's a reason why he's a legend killer. There's a reason why he's been around for so long. Right. And it's going to be fun. I can't wait till we get like 9 RKOs and 10 stunners out of the match. I'm excited. I'm excited for them to do it. I want Stone Cold to come in and just Stone Cold stunner both of them and walk away. And then DDP come in and diamond
with the corporate angle. So unfortunately, it won't be involved there.
Honestly, it would be funny though if they had Stone Cold and DDP come out at the same time and then DDP diamond cutter cutter Randy Orton and Stone Cold do a stunner to KO.
Talking about DDP, did you see DDP has Lex Luger able to stand up?
No shit.
Lex Luger is able to stand up because of DDP. Because DDP does his DDP yoga and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's been training Lex Luger. Lex Luger can stand up.
Fucking
DDP is a fucking godlike man. Saint-like.
I've heard DDP yoga is really cool too. It's really
I've tried some of it. It's actually pretty good. It's a good workout. But that's a quick aside. Like I should pull that up.
That's awesome. So pull that up and we'll get the comments. We almost had a punk kick and got 2 buckle bombs. We're so back. Nachi saying Benoit's only limitation was his size. He was great, too fucking small. There's very few guys of his stature that reach that level. Eddie Guerrero comes to mind. I think Eddie Guerrero is better than Benoit. I think Benoit's amazing. Eddie Guerrero's up there. There's very few guys of those stature that have that. Benoit's top 20. I'll give him top 20, definitely. Every time Benoit and Angle got in the ring, it was unlimited stars. That's true. They worked well together, and it had a lot to do with Angle being so great as well. But Benoit was amazing. I'm not taking away anything from Chris Benoit.
Yes, yeah.
Let's see this.
Unfortunately, horrible tragedy.
But in terms of in the ring,
wrestling.
In terms of in the ring, I don't get
Okay, tell me when.
Whenever you're ready.
Tell me when.
Whenever you're ready. Let's go. Up. Good. And right back down. How's that feel?
Okay.
All right. Let's do that. Good. And back down.
That's crazy already.
No.
And up. Just gonna do 5. That's it.
It's a minute
That's
long
3.
video, dude.
Good. Come back down. Try not those bounces at the bottom. 4 and down. Good. Last one. Good. Awesome. And back down. Take a rest. It's just a test.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Where you're at right
Holy
now.
shit.
You can still use it on the way
Slow
down.
down.
You still use it on the way down. But on the way up. That's okay. That's okay. Boom. But see, now we know where you are.
My
Like what D said, I called Dallas D. D said, 3rd time's the charm, bro. 3rd time's the charm.
Good. Good. See, you're using less and less. That's what
Amazing.
we want to do.
There you go.
Amazing.
There you go. I told you. I saw that. This,
Amazing.
February 23rd. That was posted. February 24th. Yeah.
That's incredible.
There is I can now fully believe there's a possibility that he'll be able to walk.
Lex Luger was never supposed to be able to walk again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That man had no feeling in the bottom half of his body.
Yeah. Absolutely insane.
For DDP to get him to listen, it's a miracle he got him to that level, period, to be able to stand up again.
Yeah.
You know, it just goes to show that and Lex isn't a young man either. So it's like, it just goes to show that what the human body, human brain is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
When we just say, fuck it, we want to do it, we could do it.
Yeah.
So, a few comments here. DDP was the most fucked man by the WCW merger. He was one of them. I think Billy Kidman had it bad. Billy Kidman got fucked. He was moving and shaking. I'll honestly, outside of DDP, basically, outside of Rey Mysterio, the whole cruiserweight division got fucked. Because the cruiserweight division got left to the wayside.
I really feel bad for DDP because, like, the Diamond Cutter is such a good fucking finisher.
Yeah.
And for it to be overshadowed by the RKO. Like, the RKO is fantastic, especially the way Randy hits it. It's so good. But the Diamond Cutter, especially the way DDP hit it, the Diamond Cutter was so good. So I just feel bad that that's overshadowed by
the fact that DDP and Stone Cold had such a mutual understanding about the Diamond Cutter and the Stunner. Like, it was different enough, and there was kind of a respect there. And Stone Cold says, pretty sure Diamond had the Diamond Cutter before I had the Stunner.
Yeah.
So, Nate G coming in 2005 to 2007 was rough for me. Benoit was my favorite. Eddie was my second favorite. Man, it was it was rough for all wrestling fans. I mean, I'm happy that WWE is acknowledging Benoit's existence because he was so good for WCW and WWE for 2 decades, okay? The guy was an amazing wrestler. It is a tragedy what happened. And it really made the wrestling industry face the lights about steroids. Yep. The fact that they were, we're steroid free. It was bullshit. They knew it was bullshit. And I mean, they always push the envelope, right? They have to in order to stay where they are. But yeah, that is sad. Nate G saying, so awesome. DDP is king. He is amazing. And Jericho talks about how he needed back surgery and got with DDP. He's still wrestling with 0 back. That's crazy.
Yeah. DDP doing fucking miracles with his work. In fact, I need to do more DDP yoga. I still have it. So
Nate G saying with the hundo, David, bang.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, let's keep going. I sidetracked us. So we're done
with the men's chamber match. Men's chamber match is pretty good. Everyone did pretty damn well, to be quite honest with you. Drew was out first. Damian Priest rolls him up. Like, it wasn't even like a finisher. No, he got rolled up because he hit a Claymore on Cena. He's going to go do more on Cena. Damian Priest rolls him up and gets the win and gets Drew out of there. So Drew's pissed, even more.
Which is fine. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So where that will lead, I don't know. Hopefully, I actually do hope he joins the corporate side. I think he'll be really fucking good there. Especially
they need to do more with Damian Priest too. They need to do more with Damian. They're
he is getting a lot.
I hope they find him because I like Damian Priest. I'm liking him more and more as I watch him.
He's good. There's just so much up top, especially he already had the feud with Gunther and stuff like that. So we'll see where that leads. But
it's hard to take an Undertaker protege and not put him in there when he does the old school. Yeah, he does the original old school too, not the one that Undertaker went to, the safe one, the fucking crossbody old school. Like, I need that in my life.
He actually, you'll see, he hit a Hurricane Rana off the top, off of
and what skill from a legitimate 6'10" man. It's incredible.
But then it continued after that. The final 3 were Punk, Cena, and Seth. and then we should have put a spoilers tag on this actually, but
what?
we should have put a spoilers tag because I'm going into everything now.
That's fine.
But ends with Cena taking advantage of a situation and getting Punk out of there by making him go to sleep. So Punk doesn't look incredibly weak. Punk actually has more of an angle with Seth now, it seems like. So maybe that's a future Mania match. I'm not entirely sure. This build to WrestleMania could take so many angles. There's so many ways that could go. So I'm not entirely sure where some of this is going to fit. But then after that leads to Cena still in the ring, you know, celebrating and whatnot. And then we get to the final segment, which we already talked about at the beginning of this, which took everything by storm, the whole internet by storm. Everyone that has watched any lick of wrestling and knows John Cena is surprised by this, which is what I love, is what wrestling should be like.
Yep.
And watch it. It's like I said, one of the best ones I've seen in a while.
So Nate G with a comment. I like Damien. Hate his finisher. Giants don't fall on their ass during a choke slam. Defeats the whole purpose of the choke slam. You're big. Sell it. I think he's going to fix it. I think he wanted to differentiate somehow from The Undertaker, which is his protege. I think that was kind of the goal, to not do the same thing. I don't know what else he could possibly do. I mean, you have so many versions, right? You have the regular choke slam that The Undertaker did. You have Kane's, which is a little more aggression into it, right? He fucking slammed the shit out of him. And then you had the Big Show, where he kind of held him there for a second and then slammed him down. I don't know. Maybe if you want to, maybe you should spin. Maybe that'll be better if he just fucking spins but that'll be tough. I don't know. It's tough to have so many variations of the choke slam. I mean, the Hurricane had the best choke slam, but outside of that, there's only so many variations of the choke slam. But
like I said, Alex, watch it as soon as possible.
Yes, I will.
Fantastic pay-per-view. Really, really put them on a good angle to get up to this WrestleMania and have it set up to be a big one. A fucking huge one, actually.
When is WrestleMania again, Dave? Do we have a date? Do we know it's
April
in 2 months, right?
22nd, I believe. I got to make sure I'm correct. I'm pretty sure it's April 21st, April 11th and 12th. I added a 2.
So we have a 6-week build.
Wait. I'm wrong on that one. Why would they show me 2026? Yeah, no, 19th and 20th. Okay, I was thinking in the correct terms. My bad. Yeah, thank you.
So we have like a 7-week buildup. Is there a pay-per-view in between that?
There should be.
There's probably one.
I'm trying to
Nate G saying a choke slam is fine. Nobody does it anymore. That is true. I mean, listen, people change finishers subtly all the freaking time. So we might just get Damien. Maybe he goes heel, he snaps, and all of a sudden he just starts throwing a mean fucking choke slam at people. That would be fine. I think he's trying to just differentiate himself from Mark Calloway a little bit, because everyone knows he's Undertaker's protege. Everyone knows, which comes with big fucking shoes to fill, right? The fact that it's a well-known thing and has been expressed before that you were trained by The Undertaker, there is a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Now, Mark picked the good guy. Damien's athletic as shit. So he picked the guy that mirrors a lot of what he was able to do, what Kane was able to do. So in terms of being athletic big men, so it's going to be interesting. I do think we will eventually see him just go to the straight choke slam at one point.
I am wrong. It's only WrestleMania left, so the build up over to WrestleMania is just because it's April. So we're in March. I forget where the fuck we are in month 1.
We got a 7-week build up, about 6-7 week build up. That's going to be fun.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is it? 5, 6. We have 7 Raws left. Because I don't count SmackDown. We have 7 Raws left.
Cody's on SmackDown. So a lot more could be happening on SmackDown.
We can't discount NXT anymore. NXT has some big matches.
NXT is fun. NXT is fun to watch. Shawn Michaels' harem he has built there is pretty fun.
And the fact that big stars are willing to go down there and wrestle. Bailey being down there for the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
with the
whole
really lent
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that really lent a lot of credence to the skill down there. And them holding champions that are absolutely main roster guys, but making those championships legit
that's part of what helps it, right? Is because they held Roxanne down there for a while she had the belt.
Yeah.
To make sure that women's division is going well, and there's someone ready to come in.
Thank God they added 2 belts. Thank God they added 2 more belts to the women's division.
Now they're because apparently Julia is kind of injured. They're kind of unifying the belts between Julia and Stephanie Vacker. There's a whole lot going on in NXT, but we don't have to go into that. But yeah.
Stephanie Vacker's character is fantastic too.
Stephanie Vacker is fantastic.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, go watch Elimination Chamber. Cena finally turned heel. The implications of this is monumentous. The fact that it happened. I know if you watch wrestling, you know this. Everyone knows this. But yeah, no, the memes going around on Twitter have been incredible.
As long as you could look past him apologizing to China, it's okay. He doesn't get a full pass on that.
That's whatever. That's what a heel would do, right? So,
now we should double down and just be like, China, I love you. Like, piss everyone off. But all right, Dave, I think we're gonna piss off after this. What do you think?
Yeah, that's about it. I got most of my Elimination Chamber stuff out, so that's good.
You did. And again, the road's gonna be good. They set up a very good road to WrestleMania, and they set up a lot of good things to come along the way. Nate saying I wanted to see Moose in WWE for a long time. Him and Obafemi was solid. And listen,
the TNA mix up with NXT is very good. Very
seeing
fun.
The Hardys on there look like the Hardys was so they look good.
And honestly, the Hardys are going to go against Fraxium, and that's going to be fun.
And honestly, we talked about how they lost a step a little. Jeff looked good.
He looked pretty good.
Jeff was hitting all of his stuff.
I think they're extra hyped because they're in the WWE again.
Yeah,
they want to have a good showing.
And the thing is, too, the crowd is still so into it because once Matt starts going delete, the whole place is going delete. Like, it is so good. Honestly, it was so good to see them back, and the match was a really good match. And again, seeing them hit everything, hitting the Whisper in the Wind, hitting it was all there. Mm-hmm. It was all there. Jeff Swanton looked good. I saw a funny clip of him talking about. I think he was talking to Chris Van Vliet, and they asked him, why doesn't Matt do the Swanton? He's like, because he can't.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what it is. He's like, I think he's scared of it. He won't do it. He's like, that's why he does a leg drop instead of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to see.
Yeah, that's a lot of things now, especially after Elimination Chamber. It feels like it's going in the right direction for WWE. We'll see.
I did see a rumor that they
fun stuff.
What'd you say?
I said I've seen some stuff from AEW, which they're having some fun stuff too as well.
Yeah,
so wrestling's in a pretty good spot right now. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But wrestling,
AEW's best thing about it right now is it's self-aware, and they're letting a lot of their personalities talk about the self-awareness, like MJF calling it the fuck out. Mm-hmm. Some of their bigger names are kind of talking about where they are, which is interesting, and it's good. Because it lets their fans know, like, we are on the pulse. We know that we're not doing a good job. Mm-hmm. We are going to be better. And then you have Will Ospreay just being fucking Will Ospreay, just flipping around the planet. Like, here's the thing. Will Ospreay is what everyone thought Ricochet could have been. That's honestly what he is. Yeah. He's what everyone thought Ricochet could have been without 3 botches per match.
But the thing is like, we're not going to go into this because we can keep going.
We can get going. But
thank you, Nate. We're probably not going to have we could have a dedicated.
No, we could, but we're not going to. But here's the thing. Nate, I will say this. I am working on trying to get more wrestling people from potential wrestling podcasts to jump on. I've reached out to some and hopefully they respond because I would love to do a full show just talking about wrestling. And that would be like an interview show on a Wednesday that we could do. And it could be fun, but I am working on trying to get some wrestling people on here. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
So let's get out of here, Dave. You need to sleep because you have a terrible sleep schedule right now.
Yeah, either sleep or just figure things out because I'm tired. I need to go get some
figure things out. Yeah. Just go eat a lot and put yourself in a food coma and then go to sleep. Eat more. Just give yourself the itis and then go to sleep.
You have some brisket in the fridge.
Now I want brisket. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. We appreciate wherever you watched it from, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, X, Kick, Rumble. I don't know why I always put Rumble last, but whether it's any one of those, we appreciate it. Maybe I put Rumble last because Rumble fucking hates us. But no, honestly, we get some decent numbers sometimes from Rumble. I will say that. Try Matt Morgan. I will try Matt Morgan. Thank you, Nate. You always come up with some good ones. I'm actually going to look them up on X right now so I don't forget them. But
politician now. Interesting.
What'd you say?
He's a Republican politician now, Nate said. Try to get Glenn Jacobs on.
I feel like Glenn Jacobs would.
If he comes, that would be incredible. I would actually probably fanboy out the most on that.
Matt Morgan's a massive human being, but he also doesn't have his DMs open, so we might have to fight. Anyway, we'll talk to you all later. We appreciate you for watching. Go follow us at the Alex Questa Show, and please go watch Culturama on Rumble from this past Thursday, and go subscribe to her, and go watch Act the Mic with Keith Malinak from this past Friday, and subscribe to him as well, because they're all freaking awesome. We wouldn't associate with people that aren't awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks so